In today's video, I am welcoming you into my studio space, and I kind of show you around some little nooks and crannies and different things, and I'm sure I missed something because I did it all in one take. So I probably should have paused and regrouped, but I just let it flow. So, and I stuttered around and stumbled over my words like I normally do. So anyway, I just want you to know that I realize that this is a blessing to have a large space like this, to have my own space like this, and that I haven't just been in here for 30 years. I did not start making art till I was 50. I probably took this space over, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago at this point, fully. It was used for all kinds of different things as our kids were growing up, including a bedroom, and the room is over the garage, so I think it's technically called a bonus room. We've never really used it like that. We also have a basement, and so anyway, we've just been used for a lot of different things. And so ultimately now it's my space, and I'm grateful, and I want you guys all to know that I don't take it lightly that I actually have a space that I can call my own. So anyway, I'm glad to bring you in and let you show all my little pieces, but I also wanted to say, I feel like maybe it's a little bit deceptive because it doesn't normally look like this, nor should it look like this. What I'm showing you today is it's cleaned up, it's polished, as cleaned up as it's gonna get. I mean, I'm sure to some of you it's probably still kind of messy, but it's cleaned up, it is spruced up, and it doesn't, the lights weren't in there, and I will drop a photo in. It's much more cluttered when I have my big lights in here as well, so that it makes the room feel a little bit smaller. So I will tuck a picture in so you can see what it looks like with the lights in. I had taken everything out and was cleaning and kind of and thought, oh, this is a great time to give you a tour of what it looks like when everything is in its place, and then obviously it gets chaotic again, and then I got to clean it again. But the other thing I wanted to mention was some of the things. If any of you watched my studio tour from, I think it was like a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago, some of it will look the same, but some of it is different, because here's what I'm also trying to do is, if I'm not using something, it isn't going to get valuable space in this area right around me. It needs to go somewhere else or away. So I'm really trying to keep the things nearby that I use all the time, or that I at least use once in a while, because otherwise it doesn't deserve really to be right here, and it needs to be like in a drawer or in another closet or somewhere else, and I can always reach for it at some point. But anyway, that's just another little tip, and I've really been thinking about that and evaluating the things that I have, because it's really, really easy, we know, to accumulate, but it's hard to get rid of things, and then it's really hard to organize, and then it's even harder to actually put things away so you can find them and you can access them. And I'm not a neatnik by any stretch of the imagination, but I do like organization, and I feel like I work better when I can see and have access to the things that I want to use all the time, or that I want to push myself to use all the time. So I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I don't know why I'm giving all that story and all that detail to a video about my art studio, but anyway, welcome for joining me today, and I hope you enjoy this tour of my art studio. Okay, here is the doorway into my art studio / also office, where I have an eBay business. So but it's primarily art goes on in here. So as you're coming in, we have a space for the dog that is very key, and I have a large bookshelf off to the right, which I'll just kind of scan back. Not that it's anything, but I do keep all my art journals. You can see right down here. As I finish them, I put them over there, and then just a vast amount of odds and ends that I've collected on top of the books. There is the view out my window into our neighbor's yard and the neighbor's yard, and then the desk area that I work and I ship, and all of that goes on there. Underneath in these bins, I keep all of this is the paintings that I have listed on my website, because I need to keep those in a very strategic location. And then also the boxes are filled with cards and miscellaneous things that I have also listed on my website. So in the middle here, you'll see I have kind of this vintage dresser, and I keep, not miscellaneous, but I keep extra paint and different supplies there. I also keep, this is random fabrics, which I guess I could pull out. I try not to make anybody sick, that I've tea dyed. I keep little pieces of fabric here that I've kind of stitched. I don't do a lot of that, but I think it's fun. And underneath here is all printed out. I know this is a weird place to keep it, but I print out my reference photos. So I'm gonna try to move slow so that nobody gets nauseous. Okay, I'm gonna step back so you can get the broader view. And I'm sorry about the bright light. Part of the reason this looks so cleaned up today is because I had to take my lights out for something else that I was doing, and then I decided to do a massive cleaning. So it feels very much more spacious even to myself than it normally does, because I have these big lights in here normally. So over here I have these vintage suitcases, and then this vintage trunk on the bottom that I keep random miscellaneous supplies in. And then my tripods are over there. My tripod sits on top of this when I'm shooting YouTube videos. Primarily it sits on top of that top suitcase onto my my table there that I work on. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of back out this way and kind of zoom out. I have this very large wall over here that I work on large paintings, and I have pulled out a couple because I had entered them in not an exhibit, but they were offering, they needed artwork at a specific location, and I was like, oh yeah, I got some really large pieces. So then I have this bin right here that is like primarily the stuff I use when I'm painting large. I need really big, much bigger paintbrushes and things like that. Although this one is, I have gotten some new ones, and I haven't been painting large lately. So I keep this, it's an IKEA bin on wheels here. And then I have another one that is filled with paints that I move back and forth between this area over here painting large, and then over to the side of my table where I paint smaller. So, okay, so over here, back here is a little storage area that I keep the eBay inventory, and then these are just random, all the leftover, you have to put your artwork somewhere. So I have big stacks of artwork that are right here, and then I have a few more downstairs. And then up here I just have random ribbon and different bins filled with stuff that I've made, and I have just kind of tuck it away wherever I have the space. And then some I do hang on the wall. Most of the things I hang on the wall have been like paintings or things that I made with repurposed canvases, and so I mostly keep those. I mean, I certainly would sell them to somebody, but I would, you need to mention that, right? That it's not a brand new canvas. Okay, so down below, these tables that I'm using the legs are from IKEA. The top of this table, both of these tables, this was an old door, and then this one over here was also an old door, and I put a piece of glass on top of it, so you can get these legs that just screw on. It's a little gizmo, and so I've done that. I'm a big fan of, and I say this all the time, use what you have, do not go out and buy stuff. So we have these old doors, and so I just put legs on them. I was doing an art fair at one point, and so anyway, just repurposing that stuff. So this is so tidy, it's almost deceptive, actually. This is a stack of collage paper that I've painted. This is a project over here that I used to make these book covers, and then I'd collage on the front and the back, and then I would pound these words into them. So now I'm kind of using them as substrates, because I had like, oh my gosh, so many, 100 probably at least, all various sizes. So I'm kind of working on that right now. And then over here, I just keep little scraps of paper and things. When I wrap up a order from my website, I tuck in little pieces of paper and different things when I wrap it up, and just various pencils and things over here. I honestly don't use a lot of different colored pencils and things like that, so they kind of do stay off to the side. Okay, over here I have these are all art journals. That looks like there's 6 art journals I'm working on, and I actually have one on my table over here, so I have 7. Well, actually, and then I have these little children's board books that I have turned into art journals as well. So I do work in those, but not quite as much. So below this table, I have made a hodgepodge. Again, I use what I have. So it's kind of like pieces of wood that I got from the shop outside that my husband has, and then just pieces of wood, and just created my own shelving, kind of like what you do in college with bricks and boards. This is exactly what's happening here. And I'll show you that in a second. So in this one, this is actually a little cupboard. I think it was in one of my kids' rooms for a while. Sorry about that. So I do have some encaustic. I'm not real good at encaustic in terms of doing a demo or anything, but I do encaustic, and so I have all my supplies down there. And then up here are just back stock kind of things of paint and gesso and a myriad of other things. Okay, so over here on this Mod Podge, I guess, well, anyway, I have like a rotary cutter. I have a box of just random papers. This is like bits of book spines. This is also random, papers and things that I use in my art. A whole bin of tape and when I make cards, and a glue. And then this is just filled with tags and leftover, not leftover, but what do I want to say? This is the golden high flow, a whole bunch of back of those. And then this is just random mark making tools as well. Down below I have supply. This is the oil paint that I tried one time, and I still have. I'm keeping it more at hand so I can use it again. Various tea bags that are dyed, and then lots and lots of fabric pieces. So, okay, I'm trying to move that slowly so you don't get a headache. So if I turn here, here's my desk. So I'm really back to back with all these supplies. So I can work over here, and then I can, work over here, both places, depending on, what's happening and what kind of space I need. This is the area where I do most of my videos, and I almost always try to leave my an art journal open. So it's like it inspires me. Okay, I gotta get back at it, so I try to leave, when I clean up at the end of the day, I try to, and I don't always clean up, but I try to leave something open so it's like an inviting to come back. So on my table, I keep, these are soft pastels and oil pastels, and then the extra large graphite and charcoal, the Derwent blocks that I love, and then mark making tools, and just a variety of pencils and pens, and then assortment of brushes. Like I have 4 bins with different size brushes, color shapers, catalyst wedges, well, I guess those are over here, palette knives, water, and this is just all the things I need right at hand. Color shapers. These are trays that I use for mixing paint, just putting my paint out. And then here's this, isn't this so cute? This little water bucket that I found that I just really loved having it versus just a plain jar. And I really enjoy having just old pieces that I put all my things in. I get a lot of enjoyment out of that. And then this rag is when I take my brush out of the water. A lot of times it still has paint on it, and I will wipe it off. But typically I try to get all the paint off, or as much as I can, before I ever stick it in water, so that there's less water that I'm pouring out. I really try to minimize the amount of paint that goes down the drain. Then over here, I have a whole bunch of bins. I won't show you everyone, but like I keep my my jelly plate, different markers, the Caran d'Ache, Neocolor tube, pencils, crayons, things like that. Just a variety of miscellaneous things, stencils down here. So just I try to have every spot have something that's important. And then here's a bunch of more canvases that have either most of them I'm going to continue to work on. So they're work in progress, or I painted them, finished them, and then now I don't like them, so they're gonna get some more work. So, okay, back over here to this side again. This is where I keep art journals that I haven't used yet on the bottom shelf, old books on the top, and then I just have things to reach for. I'm not sure why I have that little painting tucked in there, but that maybe I just was cleaning up. When I was cleaning up, I didn't know where else to put it. Right here is a cute little drawer thing that I put leftover paper in that I clean my brush off on. Then I always have tons of collage paper. And then here's all the mediums. gessos and matte mediums and things that I use. Most of the paints over here are things I don't use as often, colors I don't use. And I have a ton of these. I bought at one point, this is another, big fail on my part, these RNF pigment paint of their oils, and I put them out because I'm like, I am going to I'm going to try using them. So be on the lookout for that. Okay, this old dresser, this is an old vintage dresser of my grandfather's, he was born in 1900, and I'm sure it's from the 50s, but anyway, I can't resist. I always keep it, and I have just lots of miscellaneous things in there. Some of them are like kids crafts from when my kids were crafting, and so I save all that, but hopefully my grandkids will want to craft. And then up here is just a stash of cards and different matted artwork that I have as well, and I just kind of try to keep this, kind of cute. So I like my spaces to look good when possible. Obviously, this is what you're seeing right now is best case scenario, and I don't mean to be deceptive because, and I didn't even show you over here. So over here I have like a sewing machine, which I do not sew fabric anymore or anything like that, but a lot of times I'll sew paper. That is those boxes are all canvases that are waiting to be used. I have a heat tool gun and my iPad. So just things that I have that are plugged in. So anyway, I think that is just about it. I do have, let's see, I'll go slowly over here. I do have another little bin over here. I mean, I use up every square inch just of markers, and I have some paper clay and things like that in there. And then these bins have like little words that I've cut out and just random tools and supplies. It feels like I really want every drawer, everything that I have to make sense and not just be it can be cool looking, and I like attractive things, but or old vintagey things, but they have to have a purpose and they have to mostly store or be stored. So I have gone through, and there's been a variety of things lately that I am like, okay, you're out. I don't use you enough. So you have to kind of pick and choose, and you do have to sometimes purge. And I think I've talked about that a little bit on some of my videos. So I think that is about it. If I remember anything else, I will definitely show you. I'll add it on here at the end, but thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.